Hello and welcome to this video on finishing touches, if you like, to a page for the Carsington Sailing Club website. So this is a page that's pretty much ready to go. All of the text is there, the images are in place and looking fine, and then if you just come with an extremely critical eye, you notice things like there's spaces at the start of sentences which shouldn't be there because it's making the alignment of this edge look very peculiar, and it carries on throughout the page. I've just noticed that the colour of the titles is wrong, and I need to change that in the style sheet, which I will do shortly, and may well be done by the time you see the page again. But things like in the titles having colons, we're not doing that throughout the site, so I want to keep it consistent, so we'll get rid of that. In times, we're standardising on having colons between the hours and the minutes because that's what's being used elsewhere within the site. And pretty much that's it. So I'll now go through and show you how to correct these bits and pieces so it's absolutely ready to go live, basically. And if I was being really picky, I know these images came from the original sites, so therefore we can't do much at the moment, but I would make a note if we can to retake them so that they are at least the same. I would try and get an image which has the edge of the board in and then crop it so that we've got two images that just look like the edge of the board, or maybe the edge of the board with some of this red around it, but that's just being really finicky. Okay, so to change some of these things is very straightforward. You click the edit tab, come in to the editor obviously, and once the editor is there you can just do the simple things like get rid of the colons and change the full stops into colons in the times there. In terms of removing the spaces, you can either do it in here, so there's one right at the start there, we can do that, and there's a couple there. Occasionally you'll have to press an extra time just to get rid of some code that you can't actually see. This can occasionally have an adverse effect, so if for instance we were to remove these spaces here, or this space there at the start of that sentence, we would actually also inadvertently delete the photograph, which is an absolute pain. So the other way to do it, which is slightly less nice to look at but totally safe, is to view the HTML source of the page. Just click the source button, and then the phrase you're looking for in here is ampersand NBSP, as in NBSP semicolon, and that bit of code ampersand NBSP semicolon means space. And so in this view of the editor you can very safely go through and delete any of those, because we don't need to put additional spaces in anywhere because everything else has been created correctly, and we don't obviously use spaces for laying out because that can cause all sorts of issues on displaying things on different devices such as mobile phones, etc. So I'm not going to get rid of all of them, I'll get rid of a few just to show the idea. A lot of these are at the start of sentences, which is why we're getting those indents. You'll probably find that there's an occasional one in the middle of a sentence as well, and again you can just get them out. It's probably hangover from where the content's come in the first place, and it's as simple as that. So just get rid of all of those. Obviously there's a few more to do in there, and once you're finished, press the source button and you'll see things starting to line up. In fact, you'll probably see where I got to, so that lot's all fine, and then there's one there, so that's as far as I've got, so they still need doing. And to be quite honest, that's pretty much it in this page. Obviously go through and do the consistency on all the times as well, and down here again. And just in case you're wondering about the underlining, this is to do with the spell checker. At the moment this is a free spell checker which only has an American dictionary. If I can find an English one I will switch it over, and if I can't I'll eventually switch it off, but it is actually quite useful at the moment when you're doing the source type stuff because it underlines things like ampersand NBSP because it isn't a word, so it just speeds up some bits and pieces while we're currently creating the site. So there you go. Hopefully that was helpful. If not, by all means get in touch and I'll go through it. Thanks very much.